We're playing door kickers.
Let's do this.
And this is the cell. This is a complete walkthrough of the cell with all 3 stars on all missions. As to say, all terrorists eliminated and no men lost. And the great thing about that is you get to use so many men on the later missions. So we've got the first mission here, which is a sort of cafeteria thing. Lots of glass, lots of windows to shoot through here. And I think I'm using G36s and the Mark 23 silenced pistol. Unless I've used a stealth team, in which case I'll be using the silenced M4 carbine and possibly 1 or 2 assault guys as well, but I don't think so. I generally stick with one type of man, otherwise I get confused, and we don't want to get confused. So we've got some hostages down here. We don't want to be flinging open those doors too soon, but the great thing about this glass is if we're in the man here, I think we must be using a silenced carbine for this man here, because he can just pick off. First thing we do also is we plan these guys. They're just going to go through, like one's going to line up with the door while the other opens it for him, and they're just going to work their way through that passage at the top all the way to the end. So that's all kind of planned into it. And while that's going on, I can walk my man along the bottom here and just pick off through the glass. We can also open a single door. If we're very careful, we can get an angle on the door. It's quite hard to get your man to line up to open the door that he's not next to. And now we can do some picking off through the glass. And as you see, this is a silenced weapon. This is the silenced M4, and that's why you have to press the button to fire. So now my men at the top are going to start working their way through the passage, I think, if I remember rightly. You're going to really pick off now with this right-hand man, this bottom right-hand man. He's just going to pick off tangos. We can't get to that one on the bottom. This tango here, we can't get to very easily. He's going to be tricky. We may need to use... The good thing is the others have their backs to my man in the bottom right corner, so he can do a lot of picking off here, as I say. We've had that noise at the front door, and they're all looking left. Are they far enough away from each other, possibly, not to turn around if one of them is shot? So I took a chance on that, and I decided to just take one out and see what would happen, whether the other would turn around. Maybe I would hit. But I've got a good line on them, with a very small risk of hitting a hostage, and if I can just get 2 tangos in my view, not 3, we're not going to save against 3. But 2, we've got a good chance if both their backs are to us. So here goes the one. All the backs are still to us, so we'll come back out. We've got a hostage. Yeah, that's why he doesn't get the line to shoot. And there we are, we got him there. So now I can see, I've got all that daylight all over. I can see there's no other tangos in that main L-shaped area, but there may be some in the little top nook of it, that curly corner. It's soon going to be time to start getting our men along the corridor there. We could have done that at the same time. So just a flashbang to deal with this situation. But now a door's gone there in the middle. Someone's coming out there. But I already had the hostage in tow, so he was behind that automatically made the hostage be behind me because I was walking. So now we've got to cover that corner. We've also got to cover this door down here. And maybe try and get the hostages out of this main area. Just get them out of there. Because tangos could start to come in from the other rooms. And we want to come through the back door now. Start the back door entry. Now that we've made all that noise at the front door. So this is a really important concept, is that, you know, you make a lot of noise in one place and then you activate after you've given everyone a chance, the terrorists a chance to go towards that place, then you activate your team at the other end of things. So they won't be focusing on this back area at the moment. I'm just going to try and pick them off if we can. There's no one in this room. We've got more hostages or hostage in this bottom right room. So we're going to come towards it from all angles. Make sure them hostages are behind us. We can open these doors at angles that give us just a small section of the room to see. And we got very lucky there. For some reason I couldn't make all the hostages attached to me. There's one sort of stuck there. I don't know why. He didn't have a star. I couldn't click his little star. So I just left them where they were. I thought, okay, that's good enough. They're okay there. You know, by that table. A little chain out. I tend to use my injured men to lead out hostages because they're no good in the fight. I don't want to lose them in the fight, but they are useful for just leading hostages out. They're not good for much else. We don't want injured men to get killed, so I tend to use them, as I say, for leading hostages away. If it's just a safe area to lead the hostages through, then I'll certainly use an injured man for that. And I'm getting my injured man to safety at the same time. So that one was easy. And they're not all that easy. So let's go on to the second one now, which is the suspected sleeper cell, Waterford Apartments.
Let's do this.
This is an evidence gathering operation. We've got evidence that we know about this laptop here. I'm not sure if that is a piece of evidence there, a computer or something. We've definitely got some evidence there, and I think that's another tower there that we need to secure. I think you can get through these missions, these evidence missions, even if you don't secure all the evidence. I don't really quite understand how that works, but it's more satisfying if you can secure it all. And if you don't raise the alert, they don't destroy the evidence, so that's important to know, to go in with silenced weapons. So here I had an assault team, but they used their Mark 23 silenced pistols. You can see I've changed them all over to pistol grip there, you can see. See, they've got the pistol grip. Just so we can maintain stealth as long as... But we've got a powerful weapon to switch to if the firefight comes, because we need to get the firefight done quick so we can grab the evidence. So, you'd be surprised how good the Mark 23 is, even at relatively long distances, you know, 30 feet. And it's a powerful gun. Very good gun. So we're doing a little look first, just so we've got a bit of an advantage of knowledge of what's where they are. That means we can walk in. We don't need to blow up this door. We can just... And it'll be the same again, looking through, using the looking device. And now we can see some hostiles in there. So how are we going to tackle this? Well, that room is really close to us, so we can deal with that in a minute. In the meanwhile, we can examine the room that's got a bit further to go. So we've got all the corridors clear. That's very, very good. That means we can maneuver safely. Here's one to shoot. We still haven't raised the alarm. He hasn't seen us.
We need to stop them. Behind your back.
And again, he still hasn't raised the alarm because no shots have been fired. Again, no shots fired. And again, only silenced shots on the Mark 23 pistol, so that's That's fine, the HK-23 pistol.
In position.
So again, there's no alert.
No contact.
Now into this nice colourful children's room. And we've got some evidence to gather there. There isn't even anyone in there. So we still haven't done our blow up, because as soon as we blow that up, of course, they're going to start destroying evidence. So we're going to get near to the other evidence, the one remaining room that we haven't really looked at. Probably would have been prudent to look at that balcony, because actually I think there is one out there.
Intel secured. No tango. Placing charge.
I didn't see the balcony in time.
Ready to blow. On it.
Now we blow.
Okay.
And we're going back to our rifles now. No point in having silenced weapons at this point. So back to the G36, I think it is, that we used for this.
Covering. They're bashing the evidence.
And they're going to start destroying the evidence.
Suspect secured.
We didn't even blow up that one because I think the Tango opened the door. And that was the man from the balcony just there in the hallway that I just managed to kill there. I had a man in the hallway just watching the exit from the main room, which was lucky. He also could have watched the bathroom. Someone could have come out of the bathroom as well, potentially.
Good job. We're done.
So we secured all the evidence in that one. And now we're going to go on to mission 3 of the cell.
Lock and load.
Busting execution cells. So here we've got a kind of country house surrounded by a lot of land. We've got a biggish team, and we've got these are gates that you can go through here and here. That's worth noting. That dotted line, you can see through it, even if it's locked. We've got some windows on that main hallway, and we've got windows into the room there, and then we've got like a passage that goes through to the back of the house with a couple of bedrooms where presumably the torturing or the executions or whatever have been happening, and a bathroom here and a junk room here. In the back also we've got a small shed and a few little angles and things where tangos could be just loose around at the back. So it's going to be, one of the most important things here is going to be to get this side part covered. We'll watch our back going past the glass here on this little side room here. And simultaneously our main team is going to go over to the front and probably look through the glass to start with, because why not? You know, why open a door and announce our presence when we can shoot through the glass? So that's the plan. A quiet side entrance here. We've got the lockpick tool, incidentally, the machine lockpicker. For speed, we're trying to save lives here. We need to get in quick at the back.
In position.
The longer we spend picking that lock, the more chance we're doing so. So getting quite a big team ready for the back, just in case there are a lot of loose ones around at the back. And this is going to be, I think, silenced carbines, I think we used for this.
They're here.
And they've heard the gate opening.
Down.
And there's some doors going inside.
Down.
Again, no real gunshots have been fired yet, only silenced ones, so it's merely curiosity that they're coming out. Now we've got gunshots, now we've got gunfire, because now we've started the assault on the main door. And again, there was a transparent gate type thing. I decided to stop trying to pick the lock and just cover it like that. You can shoot through it, you see. You don't want to be in the middle of picking that when they come and open the front door and shoot you. So that's why he retreated and stopped picking that. We aborted that. And now, coming around with the back, now that we've drawn attention to the front of the house, again, now we can come around to the back.
On your mark.
That man was injured, so we're swapping him out for someone else. We're just getting him to safety. And putting fresh men around the side there, around the back.
Covering.
So in we come with the main team.
Covering.
And it looks like that whole front of the house really doesn't have anyone in it. which is pretty good.
On target.
I'm just going to see what we can see through the glass.
Covering.
There's no point in walking into the trap. So the whole front section of the house is clear. There's one there in the corridor that we've just caught a glimpse of. So it was a question, how are we going to do it? We'll try and get him through the glass.
Looks clear. They go down.
And that's activated a couple of the other ones in the back. They thought they could come around the back and get us from behind.
Another one.
But we've got that team there.
Looks clear. X-ray down.
So two-pronged attack, very necessary because otherwise they would be doing the two-pronged attack on us. As you can see, they've had us in a crossfire eventually. They'd have snuck all the way around there, I'm sure. So this little room is slightly problematic because of the windows, so we're going to just clear it from inside the house. The chances are there will only be one or two people in such a small room. And there's no one in there, some evidence.
Evidence acquired.
I don't know that that was actually a requirement of this job, the evidence. But now, of course, our men in the back, that window is no longer a danger to their backs.
On it.
Can't be sure that the shed is clear, but we have killed a couple of people. It probably is.
On target.
There we simply strafed our way out using the directional
No tango.
control,
No tango.
where you hold down on the dotted line and then you choose the direction that they're going to be pointing their gun in, and you can do that at multiple points along their pathway.
Tango down.
And that was all there was in that house. No one in the bedrooms. So we killed them all. And now we're back to mission number 4, assassination attempt, the old court. Number 4 of the cell.
Holding for Alpha. Waiting for Alpha. Lock in
Got to
low.
be one of the
Let's
hardest
do this.
missions of the entire game, this. So I have a plan where I kind of do a two-pronged attack on this main room here to start with in the guardhouse. Small team comes through these back rooms here and then comes in, and simultaneously as they come into this main room, we come into the main room with a big team. That team then will split into two, and a couple of the guys are going to come up to here and frag these two key areas here. This little guardhouse here, which often has a lot of tangos, and this little area here, which often has a huge number of tangos that have come out. Now we then leave it open, and we select whoever the least injured men remaining are. And sometimes I'll run them through the front door, sometimes I'll run them from here. But you just run them to this car, which is actually a yellow car here. We run them to the yellow car for cover. And from there, I usually go this side, but actually it's rather hard to save the hostage from that side, because you can see the main tango is to the left there of the hostage. I think it may actually be better to run them around this side and come into the house from this side, but it's really tough whichever way. There's always one remaining tango in this gatehouse. You can just choose to bypass the gatehouse, so from the yellow car just go kind of between the two buildings here, between this gap here, and then you've got a lot of glass here that you can get shot through, and a lot of tangos usually shooting, but there's also nearly always one here on this carpet shooting up through this glass, and that's the one that's going rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat straight into here when you first open these main doors. So again, you might choose not to open these main doors, but I think that's a mistake. I think main doors is the only way to clear some of these tangos, get a good angle on them. Otherwise, if you come from the side, you're just out in the open as soon as you're in the open, and it's very hard to survive that. The other advantage of opening the main doors is that if the front door of the house is opened at any point, you get free shots on these tangos here. And as you see, you've got a clear shot on that tango there. So strangely enough, the front door of the house is the best shot for that tango. And for that reason, I used the long barrel. I can't remember the full name of the gun, but it's long barrel gun for all my men here. And then, of course, the HK-23 SD pistol. So
Placing charge.
we're using a breaching charge on the bottom team, and we're just picking the lock on the left-hand team. And that breaching charge
Door unlocked.
depends whether there's a man in this little study here. If there is, then we breach now, because the gunfire will have started already. Otherwise, we sort of wait
Who's there? Here.
wait for the gunfire, wait till my men are about to come into the main room, and then I breach. And that gives it a good timing. Then we've got Alpha on the I beg your pardon, I think actually the long barrels are just that Alpha team that's just coming. They're the only ones with long barrel guns. And I chose them for marksmanship, those three. But again, and now we're getting the rat-a-tat-a-tat from this tango up here. As I say, he's always a problem. And for some reason, one of my grenade men, I might have touched his trail or something, but look at the number of tangos there. And we got very, very lucky that time. You don't usually do that without a man being injured, so... Because these guys have got AKs or something. They've got serious assault rifles of some kind. Just throwing a frag to try and flush this one out from the fountain, because he was doing my head in. And we got another freebie there. So now, running towards the safety of the yellow car, as I say, and this man's coming back because he's injured. We don't want him in the fight. I don't want to lose any men. This had to be clean. I wanted a clean campaign to show you that it's possible. So, we've got 1 minute left until that hostage is executed. It's very tight on time, this mission. So I decided to take one man through there, and these two, I thought, let's take them that side, because I've had so many problems trying to rescue this hostage with coming in from the right-hand door. It's just almost impossible. As soon as you throw a flashbang in there. So he's making his way in. Like I say, it's the easier way to get into the house, but as soon as you throw the flashbang in, he starts to execute the hostage. As you see, a very, very challenging amount of glass shooting through the glass there on the left-hand wing, and there's another one still there by the stairwell. Quite often he's there. Go past him for now, but don't forget he's there. So look, we've got 18 seconds left. And again, as I say, what can my man on the right do? He's got, if he opens the doors, it's so tricky. So we try and get out of sight. And I had my silenced HK pistol there, and that was good. And then it's just a question of you don't have time to go and even looking through the looking device to see who's there. So we've got two injured men there escorting the hostage away, getting themselves to safety at the same time. And I'm just going to chuck them in the bathroom. I'm not going to risk taking the hostage through this open space to the so-called rescue zone. That is not a rescue. I'm on. Again, as I say, we bypassed this gatehouse and we went between the two buildings, so there's still one in there as well, don't forget. We've still got one at the bottom of the sub-staircase here. And incidentally, there is a slight flaw. Now I'm bringing healthy men up. I'm bringing healthy men up to start clearing the rest of the house. Sometimes I go around the bottom of these cars for extra cover. On this occasion, I decided the main house was clear enough, because we'd taken both wings. If I'd only gone in one wing of the house, I would not be going in front of these cars. So we've got this man to kill here, and he's always hard to kill. He's always very, very tough. And I was just going to mention the glitch on the staircase. It doesn't matter which staircase you go up, you're going to end up coming up the middle staircase on the first floor. It's just, or the second floor if you're American. It's just a glitch in the game. Whichever of those staircases you go up, you'll end up in the same place. You'll end up going up, in effect, the red staircase. No contact. So we're just looking for that last tango on the ground floor. And very nearly bought it there. Need a frag to finish off. Clearly a very tough one. And now I've got another injured man. So again, I went through my team members, just touched on each one to see who was the least injured. Preferably not injured at all, but I think this man is injured, but he's yellow, he's not red. And so it falls to him to have to clear the rest of the house. I think all my other men are red at this point. Every which one of them is in the red with their injuries. This is the only yellow man And I've got no men with no injuries. That's how tough a mission this is. So he's going to go up the stairs. As I say, it doesn't matter which stairs you go up. But we have cleared the bottom of the house. There's no one usually in these other back rooms. This study here or the pool room. So up the stairs he goes. And it's going to be a one-man job, I'm afraid. There's still another hostage, by the way, up here, as you will see. But we do come up into a clear landing. And I decided to just gather as much intel as I possibly could, since I only had one man. So we've got a hostile in there, on his own, no hostage. We'll check the other passage now, and hoping it's clear, as you see the other staircase there, which you can't get to from the ground floor. It'd be great if you could. I'd far rather come in at the end of a corridor any day than in the middle of one. So again, another room with just a hostile. That's just a hostile. No hostages, no rescue. And what have we got here? We got a hostage and a hostile. So the plan is rescue the hostage.
Who's there? Flash out! Cops are here! Say goodbye. On target. Covering.
And I'm expecting the others the flashbang to have drawn some attention, but it didn't. So I don't know, it's probably a mistake securing that hostage behind me. Because now if that had left room, he'd be toast. So yes, probably a mistake that, but I got lucky. They haven't come out of the rooms, so we've got one in here. Had a bit of trouble swiveling the looking device at this point, so I had to kind of reinsert it. I couldn't quite I couldn't turn it to see properly. So we've got one hostile there. So it makes sense to use a breaching charge if possible. Now I opened this so that I'd have an escape room if there was a firefight. And also just to walk around and get the hostage. So no breaching charge available. A flash it is. Breaching charge might also have been too loud. We have alerted the others anyway, they're now on the way. So we're positioned to take them, and that's it. That is, I believe, the hardest mission in the entire game. And so now we get, after that, we're now on the East Street bus station, which is...
Lock and load. Let's do this.
It's fun because there's a bomb in this one, and you get the joy of a sniper. You've got a sniper sniping from the left there through all those glass, and you can see the red where his sights are lining up with one of the tangos already. Use your sniper as much as you want at the beginning of this level. It won't trigger any hostage assassinations or anything, or executions, I should say. This is we've got this tango here who's very tough. He usually ends up running and hiding in this room here. There's quite often another one with him as well. The difficult part of this one is this group of tangos here and a group of tangos here in these two sort of L-shaped areas. They're both very hard to get to. You've got to use flashbangs because they gun with full force when you do come to them, and also it's hard to get an angle on them without getting hostages in the line of fire. So the first thing we do is I just sort out my sight lines here, because quite often this one up here is in your sight line as he is there immediately. I decided on this one to go with, I think, G36 and silenced HKs, because, again, the HK23 SD, because the tangos have quite high firepower. So a silenced carbine, it will work on this mission. You can have a lot of fun with it, but I decided for this one I wanted the flexibility of being able to go from silenced to full-on military weapons if necessary, full-on assault rifle. And the carbines, the G36 is quite good because it's quite manoeuvrable in tight spaces, but it's also got a good range on it. It's a really good all-round flexible rifle. Now, there's one in here that you can usually get the drop on, but sometimes you shoot him with the silenced weapon in the back of the head and he still turns around and gives you a shot or two. So as I say, the first thing we do is we just take out as many as we can with the sniper, and then we just see how it develops. And there is a bomb in this level. often it's here. If it's here, with these hostages, you can see it straight away on the map. You can only see it if it's in a room that you're in, so you're kind of effectively in that room, I suppose, already. It's lit up by your sniper, so he sees it and he knows it's there. If not, it could be in one of these, any of these cubicles in the toilets, so you've got to pause the game at that point, once you start to look for the bomb, and you've got to track a couple of men at least to go through all them cubicles looking quickly for the bomb. And that's exactly what happens in this one, because we don't to start with. Bang, bang, and bang. I'm getting my sight lines sorted out with this team down here, trying to get this man. He threw a grenade at us, but it actually bounced back into his own room. As you can see, he's very hard to kill. So we've got a blow up ready on the bottom there. We killed one in there, but there's another in that top room as well now. We've got a charge ready, the breaching charge ready there. And we're going to come into that top room, as I say, and we're going to try and get one in the back of his head. In that top room. So we're going straight for the blow up. Not forgetting there's still one up here alive. And we're just going to come round the back. Ah, sorry, I didn't show you that, but we came in here and we did get a good drop on him in that room there. His back is usually to you, and now what we have to do is flash this other L-shaped area here. And coming in from two angles really helps, because the hostages are in the way for the team at the top. So now we're going to cover that room at the top right corner. It's not that important. The most important thing now is finding the bomb. So we've programmed in our men here to just find the bomb. To start flinging open doors like mad. And we found it. It was in this room here. You also got to check this room. We start to defuse the bomb, and while defusing it, I decided to try and get the last tango in this room. There isn't usually any in this other office area here. Just try and get him with a flashbang. He's already taken a few hits. Bomb defused with 6 seconds to go, and we also took out that last. It was a really good run through of that. Where have we got to? That was the U Street bus station, so this is the last mission of the cell now. The 6th and final mission. And they give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men. And you've just got a house to clear. It's just like it's more like a prize really at the end of the game. What you want. With everything you've learned, it's pretty easy. And a lot of fun. G36s, breaching charges, and flashbangs.
Tango down. On your mark. No tango. On target. No tangos. No tangos.
I do those little U-shaped things quite often to move my man to the side, to move his gun to the side. It would be strafing in real life, but you do a little quick U-shape. It's a quick way of doing it in this game. Like I did it again there, just little U-shapes. It's almost as good as strafing. So we're going to clear this garage so that we've contained the threats. One of those very satisfying stealth shots there in the back. And now we've really surrounded, just apart from this tiny area here, now we're cleared completely. Why am I unpicking this gate? Well, just to give me more options of places to run. Never hurts. We've only got one man round there guarding that area, so it looks like this main room is going to end up being the final firefight.
Tango down. In position. On target.
But we don't want to get
On target. Looks clear.
taken out by someone in one of these tiny little side rooms, so we're just checking everything before we go into the main room. Check everything else is clear so that we can do a proper assault on the main room safely. We've got every exit covered at the moment. There's a man covering every exit with a gun.
No tangos.
So we're just going to set up a fan shape over these double doors. I was getting that man's just getting to safety there in the bottom left because he's injured.
In position.
Again, just touching on the men to see what colour they are, and if they are injured,
On target.
I get them to safety and I swap that. So we've got our fan shape there. That is a death. And we're just bringing a man over to open the door. And hell, no one's going to survive that.
On your mark.
Okay, just covering everything I possibly can. Perhaps a little undercovered on the bottom, but
Looks clear.
in better positions where they're not likely to shoot each other now as well.
No contact. X-ray down. X-ray down. On target.
Pretty straightforward. Now, I can't use the same man to open the other door because he'd have to run across that open door. So I'm just going to check these cupboards and things first, and this other little study. Now quickly check. Did I check the other study? Oh, I didn't.
Covering.
I did the other door first.
On
Now I
target.
checked the study.
Got one.
Again,
X-ray down.
using the
Covering.
two-man version. And just frag out that last bit and then come in through the back door, which was a neat way of finishing.
Good job. We're done here.
Neat way of finishing, shooting those last two in the back. So I hope you enjoyed that as my playthrough of the Cell in Door Kickers on Android.